Hi, my name is Patrick Moore. I'm the creator of the Boxout workout system for fitness boxing. This video is about the architecture of a fitness boxing session. If you happen to be teaching that either as a PE teacher, a sports teacher, sports coach, or a personal trainer, you may be interested in this. Otherwise, it's pretty much a personal video to a physical education instructor in Illinois who I have a letter from, who's asked me some advice about getting his program and structure organized for a group of 25 students, roughly 25 students up to 35. So I'm just looking at the email on the screen as well. They're 14 years up to 18 years old, and he's in a small town in Illinois. So here's what he said to me. My plan is to have 4 groups of students exercising. One group will be doing lifting weights, one group doing the T25 workout, another group doing cardio, and another group punching the heavy bag with 3 heavy bags. So I'll be looking after the boxing bit in this video and throwing a few ideas. So he said, I would like for my students to be able to first see what they should do to learn the punches, and then be able to work out using my verbal workout that I have on my app. So I've got a workout on iTunes, which he's thinking of using for his class. He's also said he's got the beginner and intermediate workouts, and he's used the workout before, and he's on his heavy bag, so that's great. And there's a few issues here about gloves, wraps, and hand protection, and also about the kids learning the proper technique before they go ahead. A bit about shadow boxing. Anyway, so firstly, it's not an easy thing to do to teach a group of people fitness boxing. The bigger the group, the more complicated it is. It's great you've sent me this message to work out the structure, because the classes can descend into chaos quite quickly, especially with teenagers involved or kids involved. But and even a personal trainer in a main commercial gym can have quite a chaotic experience trying to get people to box for fitness, particularly if that trainer hasn't had that much experience, A, boxing, but B, teaching other people how to box. And even professional boxers I have seen get quite overwhelmed by a large group, because people are not doing what they're meant to be doing or what he or she would like them to be doing, and designing that class is not an easy thing, and then running it is another matter altogether. So it's not so easy. The interesting thing on this case is that you've only got 6 or 8 kids at a time punching, and the rest are going to be doing other things. So imagining it's a circuit. Station 1 is your T25 and your cardio, and then you're around, and then you get to the boxing section, which is heavy bags, 3 heavy bags you've got hanging up. So, okay, let's talk about the boxing section. First of all, we've got 2 sorts of boxing. We've got the bag work, and you've also mentioned about doing some group shadow boxing, which, by the way, I think is a very good idea. So group shadow boxing is a great way to give them technique training to warm up. So if you're going to be doing certain combos on the bag or on the focus pads, shadow boxing warm up is a really helpful thing, and I've got a particular video on that with some ideas for you. But what it does need is probably a bit of demonstration. So the best trainers are the ones that can actually do the technique first to demonstrate, because most people learn visually. So if you're talking about a jab, cross, hook combo, well, you want to be able to do that combo so they can follow it along. You go jab, cross, hook, 1, jab, cross, hook, 2, and so on and so on. So it helps if you can actually do it yourself. But then you have to be able to deliver it. But at least if you can give a demo, show them the combo, and then count to 10, there's the 3 steps in delivering a combination for them to do. it's always good to use the count. 1, ba, 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 2, ba, 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 3, ba, ba, ba. It's military style and it works, like 10 push-ups, 1, 2, 3, and it works in the boxing situation as well. But you can look at some videos I've got of that. But if you can demonstrate how to do the punch, count to 10, show them the combo, and push them through, a 5 or 10 minute group shadow boxing workout. You could have all 30 students in that. So when they get onto the boxing section, they'll know what to do. Okay, that's the shadow boxing warm-up. I like the idea of that. And as you say, you don't need to have gloves and pads or any equipment at all. You just need some music, some combos. You could use the audio app that I've got played through, your big speakers, and then you don't have to call out the combos at all. But it's still good to have a visual guide up the front. Unfortunately, I can't be there, being in Sydney. So the next thing is the contact work that you're going to do. So you've got punching bags. Now, I think it's great, you've got bags, a great workout. However, you've got a punching bag 1, 2, 3, and the only concern I have when they're sharing the punching bags and following the audio workout is that you've got one on one side of the punching bag here, one on the other side, double jab across, double jab across. The bag can get a bit shaken up. And it's nice to have, when you're punching a target, whether that's a punching bag or a set of focus pads, it's nice to have a predictable target from a safety point of view. So if you're punching a bag, you can imagine if you're punching 2 people at slightly different times. If you ever tried to punch a bag, 2 people on the same bag at the same time, it can get a bit jolted around, and there can be some increased risk of jarring the wrist because he's punching that way and she's punching that way, and bam, in comes the bag, and so on. So that's one thing. You often see people holding the bag. I'll do my 10 punches or my combinations, and then I'll hold it, and then you do yours. So it stabilizes the bag, and that may be a better way. That does not work so well with my audio program, which is designed for 1 person, really, not 2. That said, the other option is that they do the entire round and then swap and you restart the round again and they do a 3-minute round themselves. Downside, it's kind of boring for 1 person to sit there for 3 minutes and hold. Young people, you want to keep them engaged. Other option would be to not use my program, and I could help you work out something. So someone's doing a combination on one side, and he or she is doing either 30 seconds flat out, blah, 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 blah. Then you swap, so they'd get 3 goes each over a 3-minute round, or you do it by the numbers. So it's double jab cross times double jab cross times 10. So you do the combo 10 times and then swap, 10 times, then swap. So you can either do it for time and swap or for repetitions and swap. That makes sense. Okay, if you are going to do that without my audio, not use a combos audio program, which is the one you've got, then you would probably need to have a timer of some kind. So either one of these or an electronic timer from, you can get them, these are nice and loud. If you've got a loud gym, you might need something a bit louder. But this cooking timer I find pretty good, and if you teach them how to actually just set it and reset it, that might be enough, although people do tread on them a bit, so watch out for that. So next thing, there's your punching bags. You've got the gloves. The other thing you may consider is focus mitts. Now, focus mitts are great. They're nice and portable. You do have to teach the other person how to actually hold them. I've dropped one down here. But at least they're kind of a bit more interactive. So you've got one person holding, and they can do some moves. You can teach that as an art, and I've got some YouTube videos you can check out on that. But they do need to learn how to not only throw the punches, but how to hold. So technique is another area of experience. It's going to come down to experience. So depending on how much experience you've had as a trainer or as a boxer, that's going to really show in when you're trying to teach technique. You know, if you can't do it, it's much harder to teach it. That said, there's plenty of people out there who can't do it, and they are teaching it. Particularly, I live in Sydney, Australia. They're down on the beaches, and personal trainers often don't have much of an idea, and they're just, you know, they're using just these pads and telling people just go non-stop on the pads. Look, it's okay. It can work. You can get a bit of a workout. Depends how authentic you want to make it, but you can keep it simple and just do simple pyramid work, or pyramids is a bit 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, or straight punches or unders, whatever. Even so, you still have to have good pad working protocol, and I've got a little section called Pad Pal, if you want to remind me to send that to you, which gives you 3 separate things for the pad holder to remember and 3 things for the puncher to remember as well. And that just keeps that in mind. You know, for instance, keep your elbows in nice and tight. Don't be a whacker. Don't hit back. Get the positions right. Just basic safety protocol, just like you're taking off in an aeroplane and they give you the basic safety information as you know, probably before you've taken off, but you know what I mean. Okay, next thing you've asked about here is wrapping hands. Always a bit tricky in the world of fitness boxing. Of course, you've got these full hand wraps, which are 2 meters long, or Americans probably call it about 8 feet long. And actually, it might be a bit even longer than that, but they unwrap, they're very long, and my thought is you're going to get them all tangled up. The teenagers are going to get tangled up, and it's going to take a long time to get that to happen. Then you have to teach them how to do that. There's plenty of videos on YouTube, but still, and I've got one on YouTube. In fact, it's my highest rating YouTube video, how to put these hand wraps on. Like, a lot of people are trying to find out. I think there's a lot of people around the world getting a bit tangled up with these, and my thought would be to probably just drop this idea altogether and see if you could get a set of easy wraps. And these go on like so, and they're just a little quicker and easier to put on, and they strap on like that. So you'll be able to get them online at Title Boxing or Ringside. They're just going to be much quicker. But they do need to be washed, and they get smelly and they fall apart and all that sort of thing. These things do last a bit longer. Could you make them all by their own? I don't know. It might be an answer. There's probably $5, $6 each you can get these for, in the US. So maybe that's an alternative. A lot of people just put the white cotton undergloves underneath, but that doesn't really give much punching protection or fist or knuckle protection. It does smell proof the hands and the gloves if there's a hygiene factor. If you've got, particularly girls in the class, a lot of girls and women really don't like sharing gloves. So if you've got the gloves and you're going from one to the other, they do get sweaty and yucky. So those white cotton undergloves may not be such a bad idea, and the kids are probably happy to buy those. If there's boys, I'm not discriminating here, but they tend to be less worried. But even so, if you're swapping glove to glove to glove, and these are teenage boys, they can get sweaty and yucky, and you may get people kind of saying, well, it's a bit yuck. So, and legitimately too. So maybe those cotton undergloves are a good idea. Do you need them and these? It's starting to get a lot of layers. So it's not an easy thing to get it right. And make sure you talc your gloves out and you spray it with a bit of disinfectant. So have I covered everything? We've covered your shadow boxing. We've covered your sharing the heavy bag, the issues with that, the jarring possibility. So you need to watch out for that. And maybe don't use my audio program. Or use it in a certain way that you do round for round and you repeat the rounds, or come up with another idea, which is using a 3-minute round and a timer, which you're going to need, and doing combos when one person is holding the bag and the other person is punching, and then you swap it over, all for time. We've covered teaching kids to rap, which we think is going to be a bit too complex, but if you sell them a set, or get some in and they buy a set each, then they can go home and look on YouTube and practice till their heart's content. But this may be a better option if you're going to have these in a group situation with your class. But hand protection, particularly when you're sharing it, can be a bit of a pain in the neck. So I like them if they can have their own, then you don't have to worry about it. Otherwise, you're going to be doing a bit of washing and that kind of thing. Maybe that's your thing. So what else have we got? Teaching technique. I've got a couple of YouTube videos. You could send them around to the entire group and get them to practice that at home. Teaching technique is not an easy thing to do. I mean, you could look at my videos and then you could teach them. That would be fine. Or you could just cut out the middleman and get them to follow my videos if they will do that. How to keep their hands up. It's not just the technique that you need to get across, but it's also to minimize accidents and danger. So if you've got these, for instance, that they're covered correctly, and I talked about pad pal. So if you want to get me to send you that little piece here on my from my booklet, that might be a good idea as well. You don't want to have any accidents. The most common accident with these, if you do use these, is someone just not looking and the punch doesn't so much go in the head, but it goes here and they do their shoulder or their rotator cuff. That's if you've got bags, I understand that. Make sure, they do have some good hand protection, particularly if you've got that juggly bag and they've got solid set of gloves on and a solid, some sort of hand wraps, I think would be good. Just also to protect yourself from anyone wanting to sue you, which I do think they do in the US a bit, don't they? So, you want to say you've taken all the precautions and also make it clear that, there is a risk involved in punching bags, which, can be a bit of a jar. But the swinging bag, I'm not sure. It depends how heavy your bag is. The heavier it is, the less it will swing. If it's a lightweight bag, it's going to go all over the place. It could be difficult. You're going to have to get them to hold it, then swap. And remember, contact me about that. Any other things? I think I've covered pretty well everything. Just looking through your final email, your email for the final time. 6 kids learning. You could get the kids. They could get a copy of the audio and practice at home as well. That's another thing that they could do, or a YouTube video. And I've got a video and audio, which YouTube, it's for free. It's a 10-minute workout, 3-minute rounds. That might be a good one because they get to see it visually. Kids learn visually, or we all learn visually, and then experience the audio. And the audio is pretty much the same audio as what they would have, or what you would have in your download if you played that as the cues for the class. Keeping the class going is one of the hardest things. Keeping the boxing training moving along while you're over there doing the weights and the boxing's in the corner. That's when it helps to have a routine that they can follow clearly. Got your gloves, hand protection we've talked about. I think we've covered everything. I hope that's helpful. If you have any questions, fire them to me. For anyone else that's sat them through all this video, well done, you've gone the distance. And if you've got any questions, fire them to me. I'm very interested in answering questions about the architecture of a class and the technique and how to deliver that, because it's an interesting area that I don't think is covered much. And I know a lot of people like sports coaches and personal trainers all around the world are trying to teach groups or even one-on-one, and they're caught out because there's no system you can look up. You need a lot of experience, and you need to cover a lot of these issues. And I don't think it's easy to find that sort of information. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to help you, and just fire them on the on the YouTube thing, and I'll get back to you. So let me know. Anyway, I hope that's helpful, and I'm in your corner. Keep boxing above your weight. See ya.